living in an orphanage in Russia, and in the middle of the Russia, like in Siberia, or like close to the borders, because that time was Soviet Union. It was not the like Russia today, right? It was a little bit different concept than we have the concept of Russia today. It was a moment when it was perestroika, in Russia, and we grew in my orphan. We eat this ugly pasta every day. I don't remember for how long, but I just remember like every single day we were eating this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just so bad, and I couldn't eat it. I was like so tired of eating it because everyone forgetting us. Like it was a moment in Russia history that they forgot about orphan houses, and they forgot about to take care of it. They didn't send any money, they didn't send any, so they get to survive of what they had. And kind of feed us was what we had. And I remember that I hated pasta. Like I really hated it for many, many years. I couldn't eat it because I was so tired of it. I was really like feeling sad. Okay, so like this pasta, like I cannot even look at it. And but the thing is, as a kid, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening, why it's happening. And that's this adult who is taking care of you in the house. They do their best from their side, whatever best they can do, right? And they don't have the ability to communicate with you or be frank with you because they just don't have the
capacity,
exactly, because it's so many of us, and plus they have their own kids, their own families, and their own things that's they get to take care of it as well. So it's their work, and that's how they look at it. That we're looking at this as a work, not like as a we are humans as well that needs nourishing, needs love, needs all of that attention, like really attention, and really like kind of like. So we grew up as I would say, as a grass, like kind of like this in our own way, and whatever we learn, whatever we can manage, whatever we can kind of guide through, learning through, like kind of like in our own way.
Was there a figure when you were growing up in the orphanage? Was it someone that you can go to when you have something in your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But we had like a system that the shelters, like social whatever houses that you can go, and the adults there, they don't care so much. I mean, they care, but they don't have time to like take care of each of you, and that's kind of you kind of in your own. And that's why I've been in my own like, in very, very early age. Yes, I got some kind of attention, but that attention was just like punishment or beating you up or yell at you or scream at you. I never had a conversation, normal like to the kid, because never had any kind of like a way to communicate with other humans, like in that stage of my life. And I feel like I was always like kind of keep for myself a lot of things, and I couldn't share it because I was scared to share it every time when I share something. So I was feeling like people were very judgmental, or like couldn't like understand my kind of like a craziness. I don't know how to explain it, but like the way I am, and I'm feeling like my curiosity to life, my curiosity to the things, my curiosity to exploring things in a different direction and being fearless. At the same time, like many people around me had a lot of fears that I couldn't understand why, because I felt like we're living in abundance in my world, like I was feeling like I'm living in abundance because I didn't, of course, you don't have, when you don't have the same idea of like as normal kids do, you're sharing everything, you're sharing clothes, you're sharing all, like you don't have your room, like you don't have like my room or like my clothes, my toys or something like that. I never learned that, like when I was a kid. And I feel like that's kind of like put some kind of like a print on me.
So when you first ran away from the orphanage to escape to find your mother, it was 19 years old.
No, I moved from the orphanage when I was 14 because of the I had my second family, like a foster family that I didn't adapt. I mean, I couldn't connect, let's say like this, and they were like not nice to me. And and I kind of become rebellion, and I was living in the street. Sometime, yeah, I was like other street kids. I mean, it's normal. Like I was just thinking, like sometimes, like I enjoy it. I mean, it was kind of like crazy, yes, but I feel safe. Everything was fine. Yes, I've been like I started to be suicidal when I been like 12, I think, and I committed like, suicide. And but the thing is like because I was asking myself why did it happen? Because I felt like very lonely. Even so, I've been surrounded all the time with kids, and I've been very like strong leader. I have a natural leadership talent, and at the same time, I was very lonely. And nobody could understand me when I went through this teenager time, and it was very heavy for me to process it. And yeah, it was the heavy time. Like my scenes was very heavy compared to maybe like some many other. I would say around this 1%. of, I didn't have the safe space. Deeply inside, I didn't feel safe, and now I'm learning to be safe. I started to, like, from last year, I started to say to myself, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. I'm always like practicing this mantra, like, I'm safe. No matter where I'm in the world, I'm safe. I'm secure. Everything is fine. I'm protected, and I get to relax. Like really
So
have to relax.
the last few decades of your being, you have not felt safe. How does that feel like? How does that feel like when you go out? How does it feel like when you are alone? How does this not safe feels?
Like for me, for example, like before, I couldn't sleep without light. I was very scary. Like when I'm alone, and like I couldn't live alone. And I always like like when I was very young, because I was living with that many people, right? And when I get older, I started to live alone a lot of the time, like by myself, like, and I was scary because I was feeling like all these fears coming in my mind, like, oh, somebody will like come in my apartment. And because many things happened, in my teens years, many like dramatic things that's lead me like that many of my friends was dying because, of overdose or like drug problems or like accidents and different things that my friends I was hanging out at that time, I was not good company, and I didn't know. I just like that time of my life when I was a teenager, I want to belong. I have this like a strong feeling of belonging to the company. And now I'm remembering all the things that I was doing. I had all these ideas, like always like saying to them, oh, let's do this, let's figuring out like, and as a kid, you don't understand the consequences of the exploration, right? The consequences of that can lead it to, because you don't have the understanding of life. You don't know that how it's going to turn to the in reality. So for me, by not being in this good company, and I've been kind of like hidden leader, I kind of could uh, communicate some things and some ideas and some like ways of just being kind of very mean in some ways, because I was very angry or frustrated because that the way I was treated in by adults, by school, by other things. I was not feeling like they're treating me fair,
How did you know unfair? How did you learn about unfair? Because you were saying that in the orphanage.
intuition. But I just like gut. Like I had this very nasty experience in like my last day at school. I didn't go to the prime, for example, and like I did absolutely everything to get a score for the school. I like to get like a very good exams, but it was a regional exams. It was like I would say like a country exams. Like I went through, I was committed to that. I was creating like a very good scores. I was like very good characters and stuff, and they still push me down when I accomplished all my commitments that they asked me to do. The teachers, at school, and they didn't do what they promised me from their side, like that I get to go to this university that I wanted. I wanted to go like be a journalist. I get to have very good scores in a language and then, like the other some things, and they put me as the best scores as possible. And I tried. I tried because nobody could in that moment of my life come and talk for me, and of course I did my best to talk and fight and scream and yell, whatever, like
Mm.
and I cried, but it didn't help. It didn't help, and I said to myself, oh my God, everything just so, I just so like
Mm.
sort of fair. And I said to them, I did like everything for what you asked me for. And I just wanted to live my dream to go to this, like to the university that I want to go. And you kind of like cut at that dream from me. And I was serving you for 10 years, 11 years to be at school, like, and being leader of the class, for many, many years, doing all the work, organizing, setting it up events, doing theater, organizing all the class, or all the time doing a lot of these things, working, connecting the parents and kids, being this connector and doing the whole work for many other kids and doing everything for many, many, many years. Yes, I did enjoy it. Yes, that was part of my experience that time. It just like I took it because it was easy for me. The school was easy, the all this responsibility was easy. Everything, the organization part and like connecting and organizing things on the weekends, whatever, was very easy for me because I had all these ideas and it
Mm.
flows very easy. And the thing is, they didn't want me to leave. They want me to stay because they needed me. They needed my kind of a skill or whatever. It's been from their side, it was very selfish. Don't let me fly away.
Oh,
And I still did it. I said to everyone, I'm gone. I'm leaving anyway.
but how did you go?
I just left.
Do you have the money?
Yeah, I had money, like a little bit, but like I just left. I said to myself, it's not it doesn't work. I don't want to do that anymore. And like in so often you get like a money from the government, so you
Mm.
can get them in some amount until you this age, and after you get in more like later. So like I had opportunity to get a little bit, and I said, okay, I didn't get all the money eventually because I never care about that part. But the thing is like next year I've been already in a city, like one of the biggest cities in Russia, and studying in the university, not in the university that I wanted because I didn't have enough score to go to the university I wanted. I went to the engineer and just Google, and I said, okay, Google, what we need right now? We need engineers or doctors. And I said, okay, I don't want to be a doctor because I cannot deal with blood and all these things. And I can be engineer because the mathematics was very easy for me, and all this. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be engineer. And I started to study engineering, and I love to travel. I started to travel, like by myself, like taking bus to different like villages around and cities around when I was still at school by myself. Sometimes I take maybe a friend and we just go somewhere. And the point is like the love towards the travels was like kind of like natural for me, like exploration and all this like childhood and I just exploring and exploring more and more. And I started to travel around Russia and after Central Asia, hitchhiking. I was like in a hitchhiking club. I just went because I was curious. I just went because of my curiosity to this hitchhiker workshop, and I met friends there. And after like I went on a small like 2 days, whatever, 1 week trip with them. And after I started to explore more, and I started to kind of like make money to understand like how I can make money, how I can free myself, how I can manage myself, how I can move around. And for me, like it was kind of like a natural process of flow. And one day I said to myself, I got to move to capital because it's like, oh, traveling around the world. I get to live in the capital. It's going to be easy for me to get a job. It's going to be easy for me to travel. It's going to be easy for me to like move around. So I moved to Moscow. It was very scary, but because I was leader of my class, like university as well, I would get like a lot of this things. I was doing forums and like different events and different things. Like I was very active as well. I was hyper, and like I was doing a lot of things in the same time, and it was very easy for me. So like I just requested to move to Moscow, and I moved to Moscow. Like they sent me they changed me to Moscow. Of course, they didn't want me. I kind of like said to them, okay, I will move for like 1 year, and if I don't like it, I will be back. and I like it. And I'm still like plus living in Moscow. 6 months later, I applied for the exchange student. It was like Norway, Germany, and Netherlands. And I got in Norway. It was a scholarship, and everything. And I remember my friends was like, "Oh, 1,000 people applying for this. 1,000 people like want to study." Da, da, da. And I'm like, okay, if I got in, awesome. If I don't, awesome too. I tried. And so I get in, like, and then there was a process, of course. I moved to Norway, and after that, I just started to travel around the world, and like it just naturally kind of like a flow. And I'm like,
So you had never once, because in this material world, especially uh for us, we have a family, and then there's a family budget, there is this and that, and our parents used to work very hard to bring food to the table and things like that. And we always think that we need to reach a basic level of needs. And if we earn a certain level of income, then we can do the rest. Or we need to have this target dollar amount to feel the abundance. But for you, your life is in a flow. There is no concept of I need to hit this before I get this. You have the let's just get it anyway attitude.
yes, I feel like it's all about abundance. I didn't have because I grew up in abundance. It was like was not the same idea of my thing. So some kind of like things. Everything was abundance. Like we share all of this. We share all the food. We share clothes. We share toys. We share like it was all about sharing. Like and it was not about like. Of course, it was surviving. The thing is like wasn't I didn't feel I didn't have enough. Like yes, and I'm feeling like many people they don't know what they want. And they don't have ideas of what they want. They're just doing this following up things that's the society telling them to do because it's easier. They don't want to think for themselves. They don't want to create things for themselves because like I'm studying engineer. Yes, I like after 3 years, I don't know, 2 years, I started to question myself. So now I'm going to work as engineer for 40 years of my life. And in some point of my life, I will achieve the top that I cannot grow anymore. And I will stay in that top for many, many, many years more. And after I will buy the house in Spain that was from people from Norway do. And I will just live in my retirement between Norway and Spain. And I'm like, do I really want to have that life? I can just move to Spain now. Why do I need to wait 40 years for that? I can just move to Spain now and just work there and like, live my dream life there already now. Like, why do I need to wait, so many years of my life? And I did it. I moved for a few months to Spain, like whatever. But the point is I started to kind of like think differently. I'm like, why do I need to live for 40 years or do this or do that? What? What's the point of it? What's like the reason?
I really like what you said, because a lot of us, when we have a very structured life from beginning, and we go to school, we watch other families and kids, and we all go through this competition, this rat race in life, and it kind of confines us. It kind of build a boundary for us and say that this is the life path, and then you go. But because you don't have a safety, you don't have a home, you don't have rules. Your only rules is don't get beat up in orphanage, and that kind of makes your boundary a lot bigger, like more boundaryless. You create your own rules, and you have a can do attitude. You have a let's check it out, because that's what you have grown up to learn. If you don't check it out, you'll be stuck here. You will just stay here and suffer with the rest. You will just stay in this foster home, and it's just going to be really bad. So I think, in a way, I'm not saying that, it's great to go through that, but I feel like the universe always give us different experience to have a breakthrough. And through your hardship, if you have the right attitude, you get a breakthrough. And therefore you're having a very fulfilling life now because of your of your different stages of breakthrough. You suffer and you continue to suffer, and then you have this, let's have a look, zoom out. Let's look in and see what needs to change. Let's go and change it, and then now we go to another stage. I think that's just amazing. It's a gift that is so precious. It is so beautiful because it gives you many, many leaves of new life all the time.
Exactly. Exactly. It is. And that's the beauty of life because we have a one life. And now I'm studying to being a day skipper. I want to be captain by the end of the year. And I'm just saying to myself, like, I want to travel around on sailing boat. You know, I want to be yes, and I want to be pilot, but for that I get to make money, you know, like for the next because be pilot is a little bit in a small place. I don't want to like do the jets or something like that. Maybe I would decide it like later. I don't know. But I'm just right now in my theories. I said to myself, I'm still very young, you know, like and it's like I still have so much to do still, you know. I want to travel like around the world on a sailing boat. I want to do the with being pilot. I want to like pilot also around the world like by myself, whatever. Like just do like the stages of like just enjoying, you know, like because I know I can do all of it in this lifetime. I have time to do that when I manage, you know, like and I create a space for myself to do that.
I really like what you're sharing with us because I have experienced so much in terms of my sense of abundance, like financial and all that security. I'm not able to step out of my security because I have, like, for example, my husband has a job. So for him to say, oh, let's go and try this way of life, it's like giving up a safety job. It's so hard, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you have that, you know what? Just do it. Let's just try another one because at the end of the day, life is made up of just many, many experiences. And every time we say no to something we want to try, we're missing out on one experience that we want this lifetime.
Exactly. And that's why, for example, for me, like when I moved to America and and I was I decided to be an artist. I said to myself, 1 year I can be an artist and I want to be an art basel. And yes, the COVID hit, you know, I didn't end up in art basel because it was not art basel in 2020 and 2021 I ended up in art basel and all my friends like people who knows me very well for many years, they didn't have any doubts that I will get there because once I'm putting something in my mind, I achieve it. And I'm like my friends was like, I have no doubts that you will be there. I have no doubts that you're going to achieve absolutely anything you want because you have this go get attitude. You know, you have no fear of going like and just pitch your idea, whatever you have in your mind right now, to anyone who has, you know, that kind of like a power, like to uh, to create it for you, you know, or you're going to give these ideas to them so they can simplify that and they can maybe like include you in them. So like you know, for me, like it's always opportunity. I look at absolutely anything as opportunity to improve myself. It's opportunity to live my life to the fullest. And the only fear I had is, well, I would say, like in my relationships or in my like life, it was like at the dark side of going like being like scary of not having money or like scary of being not healthy or like you know like kind of like being sick or something like that. And after like I said to myself, it's life, you know, like I had, you know, in my life, I had like when everything was taken from me, all the money, all my passports, everything was like, my van was completely broken in America. Like a moment where I didn't have anything, like all my phones, absolutely everything was gone. Absolutely all my life was gone. And I'm like, I was zero. I was minus, you know, and I'm still
Tax?
yes, that's what's happened. You know, and I'm like, it took me a while to recover my passport. It took me a while to, you know, make money to like to get back. I got the support from my friends, and it was like the whole thing to ask for support. It was not easy for me, you know, because I'm always like kind of like in my own, and I know how to take care of myself and everything. And here I am, like vulnerable, get to ask for support, for like money, for like things, for like where to live, where to like kind of like counting on other people. And I'm saying to myself, oh my gosh, right now universe want me to live with other people. Universe right now want me to be with other people, like connect with people and asking for support, to start to trust the process of life, to start to trust of living life itself, just live it, like by knowing that all my dreams is become true. And I'm just feeling like, yes, I got to trust this process. And it frustrates me a little bit because I get to like counting on other people. Like I get to kind of like counting on other, like have a faith that these people mean good for me, and like want good for me. And blessed that I had these people, and I went through different experiences, of course, while I've been recovering my passport and my documents. And I just learned like people are people. Some people want something from you, like kind of abuse you, and like this the some sweet dreams, like that's life. And you get to kind of understand like who is who. Like you get to be more aware of who has a good heart, who really want your good things, and who wants to abuse you and actually want, kind of like in their world, they they don't mean bad, but in reality for you, it's not good. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And
So their experience shape the way they behave and the way they treat
exactly,
you. So
exactly,
that is really beautiful as well, because for you, it is like, I think you are able to find joyful living because you believe that it's either I'm suited or not suited. It's just different worlds. So you don't
exactly.
you don't be mean to your, because we have like, we are really mean to ourselves. We say things like, oh, he wants to do this to me, he's really mean to me, oh, I got abused, I'm the victim. And that really puts us down to a level that we can't get healing. We can't, because we're just constantly thinking that we are the pitiful one. But because you don't have that, you have this, I'm alive with you, let's vibe together. I'm not alive with you, let's move. This is not an experience I'm vibing with, it's time to move on. Because you have that, so your life is a constant change of a better experience for you to seek them out, rather than assessing and putting yourself in cages of, I'm so poor thing, or this person is good. You don't do that. So that makes it really easy to move and find the experience, because you only have one focus, finding the alignment and the experience.
Exactly. And I understood like it's not bad and good. It's all about just experience. People don't mean anything bad, or like they don't like in their world. Like that's what I used to say, that what is good for you is probably not good for me. What is good, like what is not, like it's always like different. And we get to understand we're all different. Like some people will love me, some people will hate me, and it's okay. It's like that's life. I cannot be liked by everyone. Even so, I wish. The thing is like people are people. You cannot. Some people feel in danger like around me. They think like I'm such a dangerous woman, or like kind of like scary of me. I'm like, what to be scary? I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm the kindest person in the world. Like, I give absolutely everything. When I have money, when I have things, when I always give. I don't have any issue like to give things from me. I can give like my T-shirt to the homeless person. I don't care. Like because I know that somebody needs us more than I do right now. Right now, I have so much clothes again, so much stuff again. And I'm feeling like 2 years ago, I didn't have nothing, and I said to myself, like I'm in Europe again, and these things will natural money will come. Everything is come. So
But
that's
how?
how.
How does it come? For us, the money has to come first before we want to, we dare to enjoy. So how did money come to you? How do you get that means to do what you want to do when you clearly have not saved that money before you do something?
I trusting to the process. Like I would say, like I believe that when you want to do something, and the universe or God want you to do that because you're trusting to the process of doing so, the opportunity will arrive. The work or the project or something will like arrive. I'm doing art right now, so I have art collectors who's buying my art. So like it's very easy for me to sell my art. For example, now it's like I'm selling a lot, like a lot of my art. Right now, I don't have. I say like I have like art prices. I don't create so much, and it's normal process of like when you become an artist. It's a normal process of being stuck a little bit, and I accept that. It's fine. The thing is like I just trusted yes, in the beginning it's scary. Like when you started to kind of live in that flow, let's say like this. Life is life, like this is what I said to you. I already live on the street. I already went through the different experiences of being not home, like being home free, I call it like this. And having like it's just experience as any other experience in life. Now, I don't have the idea of, oh, would I live in a big house or like in a room, or like it's going to be like right now living in an amazing neighborhood, I have my amazing room, everything is great, and it's a bit better and better and better. But the thing is, now I have my things, like my room, like, because kind of like when I become adult, it's just become like more like natural for me to have my things, like, and experience in my own stuff, something like that. So like it's you just get the trust because you have skills, and someone needs that skill that you have. So like in reality, just trust the process, and be vulnerable. Learn how to be vulnerable. Ask for support when it's necessary. That's what I learned from that experience, how to be vulnerable and how to ask for support. Because um, after the COVID, many things has been completely crazy, like during the COVID as well. So I get to take the jobs I would never take, like, and I have to do like the thing that I have never done, like because of that experience give me opportunity to understand and connect better with the reality, I would say, not like just living in my own world, but also started to connect with other worlds and understand how everything is actually, and in many different ways, like I just learn like I'm living kind of like in my own world, and everything is just so wonderful and beautiful, and kind of like in my own fairy tale. And when I went through this dark side of the fairy tale, and maybe still I go through this dark side of the fairy tale, because fairy tale has like this moments of the darkness where you get to go through the dark night or whatever, and like you get that's the different characters challenge you, or like kind of like want something, and they kind of like doing things for you the good, and the reality after a while it's not good for you, so like you, because of your kind heart, because of your shyness, because of your kindness, because of your like loving and living in the moment and be actually true to yourself, that what you went through this light, or like this, the experience of really magic. That's life is actually. So my life is like a fairy tale. So I believe like you get to go through this dark moments, whatever dark moments it is. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's a process, and it's still life. It's still life, and I'm feeling like many people scary of it. They're scary of not having money. They're scary of not having home. They're scary of living in the street or like something like that. And it's still experience. It's still experience. Not so many people resilient enough to go through this and still shine their star, still shine their heart, still be kind and true to themselves. And I feel like it's all the process of life. And I said to myself, I survived all of it. And the rest, whatever is going to happen, I just get to take it with a big smile and a great attitude, and just hug myself, like, hold myself very like tight and say, it's great. That's it.
Mm.
And I'm grateful for that, because you just experience again. You get to break through. You get to break down until you get to go to break through.